Hi there. Starting an extremely late data log, as in it is 10 o'clock currently, and also I haven't done a data log in like forever. So, content that I was going to go over. Sorry to lock my door. Henceforth, the experiment that I was running with self-isolation has failed. Um, well, if I were to put it into humanitarian or maybe sympathetic terms, it literally nearly killed me. As in, uh, I mean, you can't quite see it. Oh, you can see it. Boom, boom, boom. I doubt that my ex would be watching this. But in case she was, I wrote "Don't forget" on my arm, so I won't forget. Okay. Um. Anyways, I eventually got back into communication with somebody. I hate how my lips are not quite red. If you can't tell, I'm wearing makeup. There was a very unexpected change, unexpected in the quality that I never saw it in myself. Get to that. Point one, I write these down so I go through them. Experiment failed. The experiment failed. I'm no longer self isolating. I'm in communication almost daily and usually hourly with somebody who I would just refer to as D. But a new experiment has actually been started. Boop, 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 boop. Now, in my professional opinion, and by the off chance that I forgot to mention this in the last one, they're going to test me for borderline personality disorder, which could skew the results of the experiment intensely. It means that my data does not apply. If I have BPD, I have a very baby version of it. I I managed to recover from the X thing, which has been killing me slowly. I mean, literally killing me. If I could kill myself, though, I would have. This is not like a thing of discussion. I'm in no way at risk of committing suicide because if I could commit suicide, I would have never started recording these. I wouldn't even have met my ex. I would have killed myself when I was like 14 or something. God knows I've been under way worse stress than this, like a million times. Or quantified, I'd say 5 times to 4 times worse. Maybe 3 times. So we're really trying to be humble. But mm, it nearly killed me. Like constant dreams. I mean, I would daydream. My job allows me an extreme amount of time to ruminate while I do my work. So I, I unfortunately, you know, I fast tracked the self destruction pretty darn quick. But a strange experience occurred recently where my brain, how do you put it? It's reorganized itself inanely fast. So, in order to compensate with the risk of suicide and self harm and perpetual self hatred, I mean, I can withstand that shit for a while, but I don't want to anymore. So, that one's got to be gone. It's reorganized my brain. I'm not the same person I was a month ago. I mean, I am. And biologically, I have the same genetic set, roughly. Little aging effect from the Hayflick limit or whatever it's called. But my memory is different. Gets to the second part, the new experiment I've been running. I'm not a personal believer in identity. I haven't put a lot of stock in it in the past. And to be fair, it was very homophobic. It's part of the reason my ex and I didn't get along was that she's a lesbian. And that hurt me a lot as someone who fell in love with her. Um, really bad. That's like, shut up, moving on. But I don't have a very strong personality like connection. But BPD and one of its noticeable effects is a difficulty with formulating emotion or personality or identity. which is why I think it hurt with my ex breaking up, because they gave me this idea that I was not the same William who I was. In reality, I'm the same William. It's just you can't expect me to stay the same person. That's unfair, which brought me to the conclusion that I met, which was I was pansexual. I have a sticker over there, or a pin, whatever. It's a pansexual pin. And I told myself that because, well, I wanted to give people an equal chance, unlike what my ex did to me. Sorry if she's watching that, but also, yeah, that's very much what it was like. It was extremely terrible. That's why I was pansexual. I mean, I forced it upon myself because, can you imagine? Sorry, I have to check how loud I'm talking. Can you imagine being denied for something that you have no control over, your sex? No, you shouldn't have to imagine that. That's a cruel, uncaring world with a cruel, uncaring, selfish bitch of a species. Lambing out. The new experiment has been assigning labels to formulate identity. Since I don't seem to have identity in the same way that others do, the extensive amount of time I've had by myself, being that outside of this one person who I'm not exactly friends with, I talk to them a lot. Maybe I need to modulate that a bit more. But we'll get to it in a bit as to why I've leaned on them more. But, outside of them, I've stopped talking to my other friend. I rarely talk to my parents. I never talk to my father. Clearly, look, it's a male wearing makeup. Of course he doesn't talk to his father. Fucker just sends me Facebook posts all day. How am I supposed to communicate with that? Um, so the experiment was, where would we go with that? I'm asexual now. I've realized with the extensive amount of time that I've spent by myself that I don't exist. Cotard's syndrome, Cotard's disorder. Either one. Cotard's disorder, part of it is believing that you're not real, that you don't exist. And I used to tell people that all the time. Hell, I even told myself that as a coping mechanism, that I'm not real. And so my pain doesn't matter because I'm just a construct the universe created to exemplify its internal experiences. Boy, let me tell you what, that'll fuck you up real good. Sorry, I'm wiping makeup off my face. It's very nice makeup. Thank you for asking. So, whenever you peel back the layers of me communicating with people, I realize that I don't experience sexual attraction because I'm really attracted to people. At best, I experience sexual attraction, one, because of anxiety, and two, because it's expected of me, and three, yes, there's a third one. There's no point to use at best there then. Or three, or three, I just want to connect with that person. But when you peel away these things, you don't, I don't, I'm not attracted to people. Like, I don't have sexual fantasies about people. And when I realized that it was all just neurochemistry, that it was anxiety response, that it was a desire just to be loved by somebody, which fucked up. And frankly, I don't think I really want. I mean, obviously, I want to, like, I'll fantasize about cuddling, maybe, maybe. I think kissing once or twice. But beyond that, I have no desire to formulate romantic relationships with humans anymore. I mean, I can actually get cuddling from friendships, platonic friendships, and that entirely defeats the purpose of romantic relationships. I don't. It's like I've been hurt so bad by the last person I was with that I just don't want to be with people anymore. That's trauma, not the cause. The cause is that, well, frankly, every human I have ever encountered and ever had to deal with is a sack of shit, and they all deserve to die for some reason or another. And the best thing I can do is one, isolate myself away from them so I do not have these recurring thoughts or feelings. Well, therapy is also an option. Or two, which is do my fucking best, which is what I've been doing for years. But now I have the option of isolation because I realize how much of my personality is the result of the anxiety about being around other people. I mean, for the first like 4 or 5 weeks, or maybe no, like first 2 or 3 weeks, I realized that I would have sexual thoughts in the context of these people are uncomfortable or afraid of me because they expect me to have sexual thoughts, and now I am. Because, which is a consistent theme with GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, and OCD. I'm kind of stretching the definition for OCD there. It's not exactly right, but we could think of the fear as the compulsion or the obsession, the fear that people think that I'm thinking sexual thoughts, and then the compulsion is to think the thought, just thus justify the experience. Because in high school, probably kindergarten, whatever, in school before uh, whatever, I would tend to think that people could hear my inner thoughts or something like that. Like I was paranoid they could hear my own thoughts. And so it becomes this cyclical loop where the obsession is they can hear my thoughts and they're gonna hate me if I think X, Y, or Z. So the compulsion is X, Y, or Z. It's a self-feeding hate loop. It's made to kill me. Being alone by myself has really enlightened to me how much my brain really wants me dead. Like, not joking in any capacity. It wants me dead big time. It wants me to commit suicide. Not gonna happen though. Also, it can't happen. So, but I realized I was asexual because whenever you peel back all these things, the only reason I ever get like physically aroused is because I'm excited to be near somebody. But it's not the sex. I don't think about them sexually. I mean, I'll have a compulsion to think in a fear response or anxiety response, but outside that, I don't care. I don't give a shit. They're human. Why the fuck would I be attracted to a human? That's like a pet. That's a fucked up way of thinking about it. I mean, eventually, yes, it will be like they are pets to me, but not a good way to think about it. They're entirely unique individuals, and I want nothing to do with them beyond friendships. Um, and then the second revelation occurred alongside the asexual thing was that when I look at women, my brain thinks not that they're attractive, but that I wish I'd looked like them. Now we could trace this about maybe 4 years from before now. I'm very good at pinpointing different effects on the brain. You'll have to give me just a moment. Oh, my man. All right, I'm back. I was looking for something, couldn't find it. Anyways, the thing I was looking for. I'm gender fluid. I had a gender fluid pin on my hood, on my beanie, and it's in my car, and I'm not going out there and getting that. Oh, but gender fluid just means that essentially my brain never got really strong imprints from sociocultural training, so my brain will regularly shift gears on what it wants to be. I shift gears on what I want to be. Not really. It's more of my brain, and I'll explain in a second. Um, if we trace back by 4 years, there started this weird because I'm homophobic, or I was homophobic. I probably still am. To be fair, I don't have a very good opinion about the LGBT community. Um, despite being part of a fucking moron. Um, I had a friend who was a homosexual, femboy specifically, and there was this repressed desire to fuck him, mostly because it wasn't allowed. I mean, again, unless I haven't narrated that, I had OCD as a child. Um, for specifically the forbidden thoughts category, which would be answered with prayer. And it starts from there, and it's the majority of the development to the desire to be feminine or like the female people I see mostly started with my ex because, well, one, they gave me a I will say a safe space. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Last time you use that, I'm going to give them the best version of what they intended. What they intended, not what I experienced. Well, God, it's so fucking complicated. They tried to create a safe space for me to express myself gender wise. And part of that was, do I actually have that? I do have that. Wow, that's weird. Part of that was being able to wear makeup and skirts and stuff. And I think the fact that they were lesbian and I felt so worthless for just being a male, something I can't control, and I definitely shouldn't have had used against me in judgment. Not fair, but then again, they have CPTSD around people who are male, so I'm not going to judge them for that. I mean, I I will secretly judge them on the inside, but I would not make my actions, my ethical behavior any different because as like me not getting a free pass for having BPD, they didn't give me a pass for having BPD. They won't give me a pass for having BPD. You know, it's statistically and in structural dissociation theory way worse than CPTSD. Actually, no, in structural dissociation they are equal. Actually, I think CPTSD is worse. Maybe. It's a great theory. You should look it up. It's a horrifying theory. It connects a lot of different disorders together in a terrifying image of the human psyche. But actually, all jokes aside, BPD does have a 10% suicide rate for a fucking reason. It does for a fucking reason. Moving on. Um, it started with my ex, really, being allowed to express myself that gender wise. And parts of me, Cyrus in particular, and electrochemistry, and some of the physicality sections of my brain, they worry, or in Cyrus's case, they like to pros against me that the entire asexual thing is me trying to copy my ex alongside, and coincidentally, I'm tired as fuck. I've started listening to Cave Town, which was their favorite band. It's irrelevant. Also, one of the best bands I've ever listened to. God, it's really pretty. It also captures that horrible depression feeling. Not that well. I think my depression is slightly. I don't think I've been experiencing depression, if that's what depression sounds like. Mine's more horrifying. Like someone's ramming a knife in your skull, kind of horrifying. Besides, that's asides. Um, I'm sorry, give me just a moment. Yes, parts of me have worried that, such as the, which we will get to, things like the asexual, um, is a result of me trying to mimic my ex. And yes, that very much could be a possibility. But regardless of whether or not it is, if I do experience it in a way that actually makes me happier, which yes, it does, it actually very much does. I'm very tired of trying to make myself happy by consuming other people. I would like to just be happy by myself. Well, never really by myself. The internal family system means that I'm pretty much always with people, but the people aren't me. So, but the second part is that on Friday of this week, as this is being recorded, it's going to be uploaded the same day, probably the same night too. Friday this week, I'm going to my primary care physician to ask to get started on gender affirming care, HRT, estrogen, to make my body more feminine. Because a noticeable trend occurred, one that was fascinatingly divergent from the standard neurotypical function in my brain. Not neurotypical in the context of sociocultural, neurodevelopmental, but neurotypical as in the purvey of my own brain, my own brain's activity. And it's that I experience less duress and stress being outside when dressed femininely. I mean, today I went outside in a skirt. That's not a lot of things. Thing a lot of men do. Wait, I'm gonna pause it and show them off. Bam! You can't even see it in the camera. My God! Bam! You can't see me. Bam! It's awesome. I love it. The other one is also in here. And this was part of, man, I hope this is capturing the audio through my headphones. This was part of the theory I had. I bought this a while back after my breakup. It's a very nice skirt, by the way. Too small for my hips, which means I'm a fat ass and I have to lose weight. Um, During my breakup, my ex and I had a sexual roleplay session, I suppose, where I was the one wearing the skirt. And I think it might have been a bit of an imprint thing. Although you can't ask me to do imprint theory. What do I look like, a goddamn behavioralist? And this sort of cascaded. Now the brain uses compensatory behavior whenever it's stressed out or overstressed, but my brain doesn't operate like the normal humans. I have a tear in my foot. This better be capturing the audio through my headphones. The brain uses compensatory behavior whenever it's overstressed, but part of BPD and greater dissociative identity disorder. Not what I have. Not what I have. The greater part of structural dissociation is that you don't really have an identity. You have to formulate an identity, which is why I'm using these labels, why I've created this labeling system, and why I'm so hell bent on the HRT thing. Not hell bent. It's not an obsession, which is the only thing that made me very secure in the decision was that, one, it's been a while. Consideration has been substantially long enough, at least 2 weeks. I hope. I fucking hope. And it started appearing in the small things. Originally, I don't actually remember how I originally got to it, but I do remember I went on GoodRx, found out my medication is just available online. My medication is for ADHD, so it's a controlled substance, Adderall. And then I also looked up estradiol, and it just kind of cascaded from there. Now my brain is pruning out memories. I can half see the things that I'm trying to see, but I choose to accept it as a part of my identity. Whenever I started using the asexual thing, at week 3, my brain started augmenting my memories, which has created this weird sensation of I'm a brand new person, which you think would be good, but it's a little distressing because in real time, I'm watching memories fade and disappear or be augmented. I mean, childhood memories too, which not really, because they're so abstracted, they're practically I don't know, invisible. I can't really look at them. Childhood in the limitation of 12 and up. Well, whenever my memories start. Psychotraumatic amnesia. It's been a fascinating process because on one side, you have the emotionated side. This is emotional connection to me. I feel happier. I feel more me when I'm effeminate. Not so much that people have to perceive me as that, which is one of the non-contributors to gender dysphoria. But then again, I also seek secondary sexual characteristics, so that kind of bypasses a lot of it. And it's usually on my mind enough that it is distressing. Besides, I'll put it aside. Thought stray, put it away. Wow, that rhymed. Out of time. Um, I kind of lost my train of thought. It's very late for me. Oh my god, I have to go to bed. Give me a moment. Alright, so I'm essentially just going to close this up. In conclusion, I've in time watched the autobiographical function of the brain rewire my experiences. It's creating false memories because a brain cannot recall information which has already been lost and it already has to downgrade information from first-hand experiences to second-hand, which is memory. It's creating a third-hand memory, which is causing dissociative issues, as in I can feel myself being somebody new because the memories that make me as a person fundamentally are changing. There's a limit to this. There is a limit to this. I cannot push this too far or I will get DID. Not how that works. I'll have some sort of amnesic error. But it's fascinating. I'm just gonna go over the 25-minute mark. I don't give a shit. It's bizarre. And I think it's worth examining more. But the problem is that as the observer and the observee, the one being observed and the one observing, there are limitations to what I can do from my position. I cannot observe impartially because I am me. And when I do try to observe impartially, there's usually a step back. Or, in the alternative, as with the HRT thing, I acknowledge that the memories and experiences I'm having are probably fake, but I accept them. That's okay. If they help me formulate an identity, which is core to my person, it helps me establish a core personality. So things like my previous relationship where I broke someone's heart because I changed fundamentally as a person. And it also improves my mental health. That's all that matters. I mean, it's the goal is to not hurt anyone anymore, especially myself. Because God knows I've suffered some serious goddamn trauma. It's bizarre that I have access to none of it. But I know there is 50 years worth of trauma in this brain, which is funny because I'm only less than 20, so. Alrighty, I'm gonna have to end this. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you do actually have comments to make them. I'm not gonna judge you. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night. It's OCD. I just want to let it turn 27. I'm not gonna. Oh my god! Wait, look. I got a makeup set. Oh my god! Wait, look. I got a makeup set.